Hello, Hayley. How are
Hi,
you?
Maddie. How are you?
Good. Are we all grand?
I'm all excited and excited
You
to do an
look
episode.
wonderful. If anyone's watching on YouTube, Hayley's got a very beautiful burgundy top on and looks brilliant.
It's very in my
Grand.
autumn colours. I feel this is
Oh,
a winner.
I love it. Yes, burgundy's definitely the one. So today I wanted to talk about a topic that a phrase that comes up all the time. I think a lot of people identify with this. I would call myself a recovering one of these. People pleaser. I think in this
Ooh,
industry, I know this is your topic, in our industry, I think it naturally attracts lots of us because who
yeah,
else would stand on the feet for 14 hours and not eat to make other people feel really good,
yes.
apart from a people pleaser. And there's something that you taught me on our workshops or people pleaser to powerhouse. As most things you say, it absolutely blew my mind, and I've never stopped thinking about it since. And everyone else in the room, just again, it was like such a sort of mic drop moment. And it is the secret deal. Tell us
Yes, you love
about this.
this.
I love the
This is
secret
your favourite
deal. It's
thing.
so good. So I want to crack it out of your head and into the podcast, please.
Yes. And so you want me to explain what the secret deal is?
Yeah. Tell our listeners like what the secret deal is. Yeah.
Okay. And so when we do our workshop from People Pleaser to Powerhouse, I talk, my side of things is to talk about people pleasing from like a psychology point of view. And then you talk more about how it shows up in your business and stuff like that, don't you? So one of the things I do is I talk about the different sorts of ways that we people please so that people can recognize if they're doing it. Because I think sometimes we're like, oh, I'm not doing, I don't know. And then when I give examples, like this is how it looks. And people go, oh, and I remember when we did this and the secret deal, people were like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting one. And so I really like the secret deal. But the secret deal is essentially where you make an agreement with someone, but you don't tell them about it. And so it's essentially like this. I might do something like go, oh yeah, you might ask me to do something for you. And I'll go, yeah, I'm going to do that for you, Maddie. And in my head, I'll go, but in return, you're going to do this. But I don't tell you about that bit and you don't agree to it. And then later, when you don't do it, or something happens where you don't do the deal,
I renege on my end
I'm
of a
mad at
deal
you
that
for
I
that.
that I didn't know that
Renege,
I was
that's the
in.
word I
Yeah.
want. When
Yeah.
yes, when you renege on that deal, I'm really mad at you because I did that thing for you so that you would do this thing for me later.
Yeah.
And we do this in hairdressing and in the beauty industry all the time.
Yeah.
And so that's really what it is. It's like when someone asks you to do something, you say yes, and you add a caveat in your head, but you don't tell them about it. And it comes home when you're mad because they didn't stick to the deal that they have
Yeah.
no idea exists.
Yeah.
And it is so, so common. And
It's
it's
so
interesting because when I first learned about this, I was like, oh, shit.
yeah. That's what I was going to say. Is like
Yeah.
and we'll kind of talk about it obviously in the industry, but I came home and told Aidan about it, and he was like, "Oh shit!" And then I tell my friends about it, and my friend WhatsApped me about this scenario, and I literally said, "You've secret dealed her," because it was a thing of like, she was annoyed because she expected a person to behave a certain way but hadn't explained that, and I was just like, this is a bloody secret deal. So it's honestly like
Yeah.
worked its way into my entire life, and I hope
Yes.
from this episode, and that's why I wanted to bring it into the episode, that it helps people in their business, but actually I think that people will start noticing this in their life. And when you can identify it and name it, and you realize actually
Yes.
how unhelpful it is for you and the other person, it's life changing.
It's awful for relationships. It's awful for your relationships. It shows up. We do it with clients. We do it with people in our lives. If you're a salon owner, you're probably doing it with your team. It's unhelpful.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can recognize where you're doing this and figure out a way to do something different, your life and your business will change. You'll be
Yeah.
much happier.
And and not only was I like, okay, this is so me, but also I realized that this shows up all of the time in my Facebook group. Like if I could literally
Yes.
just copy and paste, this is a secret deal, or have a conversation with them, or what does your policy say? That I wouldn't have to go in the group. I might just pin a post and go, here's the answer to whatever you're talking about.
Yeah. When I go in your group, I see a lot of, I see constant people being mad because their secret deal didn't pan out,
Yeah. So
and they're so mad.
let's talk about some of these, the common ones, because I want to relate to, I want our listener to be like, okay, this is how it's shown up in business. So can we play a game of Haley, what's a secret deal? And I'll tell you, I'll give you the scenario, and you can tell us a little bit about that.
Maybe we could develop this into a quiz show. It sounds
I
excellent.
know we need to do. It's like woo or not woo, isn't it? We're coming up with all these ideas. So one really common one is you've always stayed really late for this client, and now they've gone elsewhere, and you're just pissed because you go, after all I
Yeah.
did for you, I sacrificed my kid's nativity. I didn't go on date night because I've been staying late for you every time because you don't finish work till 6 o'clock. What's the
Yes.
secret deal?
I think this is probably one of the most common ones that I
Mm-hmm.
see when I'm coaching in my groups, in your group, in a Facebook group, anywhere. I think this is the common one that all hairdressers are guilty of in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this: you have bent over backwards, you bend over backwards for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
but number one, they don't know you're bending over backwards for them. That's often common. That's the
Yeah.
second part of it. And so it's like, Tracy says, oh, can you do me at 6? And you do it, but that's out of your hours. And so,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, there's one end of it where you've said yes, and Tracy doesn't know that that's a favour. There's
Mm-hmm.
that bit there. But even if she does, even if you say, yeah, okay, that's a bit, I'll stay late and do that, that's okay. But you say yes, but what you think in your head is, now I'm doing this for you, Tracy. You can never leave me. You're my client
Mm-hmm.
forever. You'll have, it's a bit like you want something back. But often the deal we make is, if I bend over backwards for you,
Mm-hmm.
you can never leave me as a client. That's kind
Yeah.
of the deal. This means that you
Yeah.
stay with me forever. And so we put something in when we do something for people. But I see so often as hairdressers and beauty people, we don't even tell people that it's a favour,
Yeah.
you know?
A lot of the time when I see it, they haven't told them. They've never even said, "Oh well, that's not my hours." They just go, "Yeah, okay." And I'm like,
Tracy
"How
just
is
thinks
that?
it is.
How is a client going to know this?"
Yeah.
Um, Tracy's not
But it's
Mystic
also
Meg.
things like that. Yeah, she's not. And so other secret deals we might make is, yes, I'll do that for you at that time, but you can't complain. It's things
Yo,
like
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like if I do that, you can never complain because
yeah,
I did this thing for you. And
yeah.
so when we do favors, I'm doing air
Air
quotes
quotes.
if you're not watching YouTube, when we do favors for people, we often attach something to it.
There are
That's always
strings.
something like, you can't complain about it, you must like your hair, you can't leave me,
Yeah,
whatever, whatever, whatever.
yeah.
And then when Tracy does decide to go elsewhere,
Mm,
people are furious.
mm,
And that's when they start pulling out that, after all I did for you. And it's
yeah,
because they actually think the deal's real. Well,
yeah,
I'll say we, because I do it. We
yeah,
think the deal's real. And
yeah.
we forget that Tracy never agreed. She has no idea this deal exists. And she certainly didn't sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, it's. I
But it's this
imagine.
exchange.
Yeah, I picture it as like the scoreboard. So you're doing it, and you go, oh, I'm going to put that up on the whiteboard, and then it's like wheeled out when the client leaves.
Yeah.
It's like, look at all of these things that I did. I did this thing and this thing and
Yes.
this thing. But the client's
Yeah.
like,
There's another.
I didn't know this was happening.
I didn't know that you were keeping score. You said
Mm.
yes. I asked
Mm-hmm.
you a question. You said yes. That's the end of
Mm-hmm.
that deal.
Mm-hmm.
That is literally it. But I think there's this other thing, it just popped into my head that I learned when I was training as a therapist. And it was called, we used to call it something like collecting stamps.
Mm.
And it's also when you do this favour for Tracy, you're owed one. You're owed a favour.
Yeah,
You did
yeah,
that. She
yeah.
doesn't know it's a favour, but you've saved it. You're owed one. And then sometimes when you want to cash that favour in and they say no, you're like, what? But you owe me a favour.
Yeah.
And it happens in that way. And so that's the best way to describe it, is you've made a deal, but the other person has no idea.
They were
And
not
you
in the
have
room.
no right to be mad.
Yeah, I've got
They were
another
not in
one.
the room.
Um, you have, and I'm going to air quote, you have quote unquote let your client off with being late. So you've let them run 15 minutes late. Every time they come in, they're late. You run late for them one time, maybe you're 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
late, and she makes a bit of a comment. She's maybe tutting, she's looking at a watch. You are raging because she's the late person. So you should be allowed 5 minutes because you have allowed her
Yeah.
three lots of 15 minutes. What's the secret deal?
The secret deal there is it's like we're flexible, aren't we? I'm
Mm.
going to be flexible with you so that I presume that means you're going to be flexible with me. You've
Mm-hmm.
decided that's a two-way street. And
Mm-hmm.
again, Tracy doesn't know that. She's just late and thinking about, she's not concerning herself with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's exactly that. You've made this thing of, yeah, Tracy, it's fine that you're late. And then your caveat is, because you'll be fine if I'm late one day.
Mm-hmm.
Tracy hasn't agreed to that though.
Yeah.
She's just been late and you've let her come, and that's it. But I also think I see another secret deal that sometimes people have around this is, I'll do your hair today for you and you're late, but you have to like it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you're not
like
allowed to complain.
yeah.
Like, if she doesn't like it, you'd be double furious
Mm-hmm.
because you let her come late.
Yeah.
There's often a caveat that that's not we're not saying it out loud. In fact, I don't even think we're admitting it to ourselves properly,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to start to see it now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think whenever you let someone come late, you've definitely added a secret deal in your head. I think so often,
Yeah, there's like
which is,
certain there's
oh,
like
it's okay when
certain
I'm late.
yeah. I think on that one, and if with a lot of them, you won't know that you've made a secret deal until it's quote unquote broken. So
Yes.
you don't let her run late going, oh well, one day I'm going to be late and this will be okay. It's at that time when you're late and she looks at your watch that you then pull out the mental scoreboard and go, well, wait a minute, I let you be
Yeah.
late all these
But
other
I did all
times.
of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like we don't know we've done it until, and we're often resentful.
That's the
Resentful
feeling.
is often the sign that your secret deal did not pan out. This
Yeah, that's the
unspoken
indicator.
thing. Yeah.
Here's another one of my faves. You have given friends and family a discount because you haven't been on my masterclass, link in bio.
Well, they can never leave you.
They can never
Is
leave you.
that what
But
it is?
Haley, no, no, no. Even worse. They are not sharing your posts. They are not leaving you a review. They are not tagging you in photos, and they are not recommending people. So you've done this favor. You've done
Yes.
freebies. You've done discounts, but they're not. I see a lot of people going, friends and family should support you, and then a lot of that's backed up
Should.
by, well, I give them discount, and should is
Yeah.
the word here.
Yeah.
Tell us the
Yeah.
deal.
And so the deal here is that people often when they're starting out, I think often when we're starting out, that's when we do things like give our friends and family
Mm,
discounts. But in our head, we want to exchange that for promotion
mm-hmm,
recommendation, but we don't say that.
mm-hmm,
I think often we just presume that will happen because that's what we're hoping,
mm-hmm.
is that they will big up our business. But if you don't tell them, they just think they're getting a discount. If we're not clear about the fact that yes, you can have a discount in exchange for reviews and
Mm-hmm.
photographs, like the deal is every time you come in, you're going to talk about it
Yeah,
for your discount. That would be fair. And someone might go, yeah, great.
great
And they
deal.
might,
Yeah,
but if
great
it's
offer.
not agreed up front, you can't be
Mm-hmm,
mad about it when they're not doing it. You can't
mm-hmm.
presume, because if people, particularly if people aren't running a small business, they don't really even understand why that stuff matters.
Yeah,
They just
and
don't get it, and
also
they're just
like I see people have this secret deal without even having their friends and family as clients and without even giving them discount. Like I see so many people like focusing heaps of energy on being mad that their friends and family just don't share their stuff and leave them reviews. Like regardless of whether they're a client or not, there's this really deep feeling of your friends and family should support your business. There's loads of viral posts. There's like the whole, you know, when Kylie drops a new lipstick, everyone goes to buy it, yet you don't support your friends and family. Um, and again, it's a
it's very
should. It's
passag.
oh yeah, like I can't bear it, but it's this whole, the deal is I am related to you. I am starting a business and that needs some support, or I would like some support.
Yeah,
You should, and then they'll do these are the free ways to support a business. Like lots of this becomes really passé because it's all just people not asking for their needs,
yeah,
like immediately.
yeah. It's exactly what it is. Instead of having a conversation, I'm going to make a post about it
That's a whole
and then be
other,
mad when no one's
the passag
doing anything
post.
with it. It's
Mm,
crazy, isn't it? But it's essentially about not being clear about what you expect in return.
mm-hmm,
It's just being upfront. It's not being clear and setting your stall out up front. You know,
mm-hmm,
if the exchange, because now it's common, isn't it? People do some influencer's hair in exchange
mm-hmm,
for promotion.
mm-hmm.
That's not a secret deal. That's a deal.
Yeah.
But we're doing smaller versions of that with our friends and family. But
Mm-hmm,
we're not really telling them exactly what they need to do. And then we're just so mad.
mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting. I see that a lot. I see
It's
that a lot.
honestly like I hope people after this like tell us what they're noticing, because I just see it like everywhere all the time. Um,
Yeah.
so
I'd
let
love to
me,
hear people's secret deals. I would
yeah, and
literally love to get messages saying, "Oh, this is the one that I'm
we've
doing."
revealed it. Yeah, like which one are you
Hmm.
doing? Which one have you noticed other people doing? Like we see them in like households of like, I've done this, so you should do this. Like you were off work today, so
Yeah.
you should have washed up. But we'll never discuss that. We'll never just set the expectation. Um,
Yeah.
why do we do them?
Oh, why do we do secret deals? I think there's lots of reasons, but essentially, people pleasing is a coping strategy. So, secret
Mm-hmm,
deal is part of people pleasing. People pleasing is a coping strategy. It's how we feel safe in the world. And so, a lot of the time, we people please so people don't leave us.
mm-hmm,
I think that's often what it is. It's often we're people pleasing as hairdressers to keep people around us so they
mm-hmm,
don't leave the business. I'm saying yes to staying late so you don't leave. I'm going to do this so you don't leave. And I think it's all about safe. People pleasing is actually all about safety and feeling safe in the world. It's how we get people to like us so they don't leave, so we feel safe. It's all of that
mm-hmm,
stuff. But I think in hairdressing, if we dig underneath a lot of it, it comes down to money, because money is how we feel safe in the world. And so we
mm-hmm,
people please because we don't want people to leave so that we have money to live.
mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty simple. It's about security in the world. And so that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, and I
And we need
was,
to find better
oh yeah,
ways.
yeah, I was as you were
We need
saying
to
that
find
I
better
was,
ways of feeling safe, Maddie. That's it. Yeah.
yeah, that's the crux of it. As you were saying that, you answered the question, but I was sort of wondering, is this is this want for people not to leave? Is this from like an abandonment thing, or is this a financial security thing? Um,
Well, it's both. Yeah, it
mhm,
depends on the scenario that you're giving. Like, so the
mhm,
scenarios we've talked about today around, the hair and beauty industry
mhm,
would be around feeling safe financially.
right.
We think when people like us, they'll
Mhm,
keep coming, they won't leave, then I'll have money.
mhm,
But people pleasing would show up in your personal life, in your relationships. Again, it's about feeling safe. We don't want
mhm,
people to leave us.
mhm,
It is about being abandoned and stuff like
mhm,
that. And so we people please to get people to like us, because when people like us, we feel safer in the world. Our partners will stay, our friends, our new colleagues, whatever. We people please to stay safe. That is the way to
mhm.
think about it.
Yeah, there's
But it depends on the scenario.
Yeah, there was an example that came to mind, because I know at the beginning you said about if you're like in leadership, and there's a lot around. I've employed someone, I've given them all of this training, I've given them all of these clients, I've given them this career, this leg up, and then they've left,
Yeah.
or like whatever they've done, they've gone self-employed,
Hmm.
and that is like crushing for people. But they will do, they'll do the
Yeah.
same and say, well, I did, all of this.
Hmm.
It's a
It's
leadership
about being
secret deal.
clear up
Mm-hmm.
front. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to be clear up front. And I think we learn the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think it's about setting your stall out and being really clear about the deal and going to, so for example, I'm going to employ you, I'm going to train you, and this is what I expect in return.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can be like, yeah, we did that. And so
Yeah.
if you say to your client is 15 minutes late, um, I'm happy to do you today because I can, and you're 15 minutes late, but that might not always be the case. But
Mm-hmm.
I hope you'll be as kind. I hope you'll be as forgiving to me if you, in a jokey way, I hope
Mm-hmm.
you'll be as forgiving to me if I'm late one day.
Mm-hmm.
Even that is a little bit like saying,
We're having a
I'm
deal.
hoping this is going to work both ways.
Yeah.
But really, what's going to be better is a policy.
Yeah.
It's the policy, isn't it? And you could
Yeah.
have in your policy, I worked in a salon once and their policy was um, you or me is allowed to be up to 15 minutes late.
Mm-hmm.
And
And I
after
think
that, you'll be
both.
charged. And after that,
Yeah.
your appointment was free or something. Or
Mm-hmm.
they had a deal that worked both ways,
Mm-hmm.
which was much better.
And that's why we love policies. Like,
Oh, Maddie loves
oh
a policy.
no. And my first question will be, what is your policy? What was agreed upon prior to any of this happening?
Exactly that. I see you say that in your group nearly every day.
Yeah.
What was the policy? But that's
What
what
was
I'm always
agreed?
saying to
Yeah.
people. What was agreed? What's your business? What did they sign? Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing,
and
nothing.
that's and that's when the word should comes in. Like, I just think that
Yeah.
people should do this. um but yeah, what I realize is like, people's shoulds are really different, and we're kind of holding people to expectations. For example, like someone
Yeah.
might go, like, I'm a late person sometimes. If it's like today I was late for the gym, I'm either early or I'm late. Like, I'm just not an on-time person. For me, that's okay. And if people relate to me, it does not bother me in the slightest. But there are other people who think
Hmm.
you should be on time. It's really important to
Yeah.
be punctual.
Hmm.
It's just not an important thing to me. Like, perfectionism is not important to me.
Hmm.
If I had a bullet point in the wrong place on a slide, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
Just
you're
someone
not
else,
dying about that.
yeah, someone else might go, this is a program, you're a professional, you should have everything in the right
Hmm.
sort of place. So I think it's this should, and going by applying your sort of life rules to
Yeah, it can be
everyone.
like your morals
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well
like values
sometimes.
and
It's just
stuff.
your
Yeah,
morals.
yeah.
But we
Well,
can't presume
mhm,
that this is always a two-way street. Just because you've
mhm,
agreed to do somebody late doesn't mean that we're automatically in a two-way street thing now.
mhm.
And
Yeah,
a year later, you get to cash that in.
yeah,
That's just not how it works. It's really about being clear up front, all of this.
yeah.
But I think
Marvelous.
a lot of people who are unhappy in their jobs as hairdressers and beauty professionals, it's because they're doing too much secret dealing and it's not panning out.
Hmm. Yeah, I totally agree.
All of that.
So
Yeah.
what's next? Should we set a little homework assignment for our
Yes.
listeners? Get them to ponder on this a bit.
Yeah, I think the next step is always to just start. Whenever you want to change something, you've got to notice it's happening. And so, the first thing I would always say to someone is start paying attention to if you're doing secret deals.
Hmm.
And please let us know, though. I'd really
Yeah,
like to hear them. And it's kind of awful because you get this sort of survival humor where when you realize them, they kind of sound funny. You think,
yeah,
oh no.
yeah.
They're sort of, in hindsight, once you get over yourself a little bit, you can see that they're kind of funny. They
Hmm.
can feel funny to look at and go, oh, I can't believe I made that deal in my head.
Hmm.
No one would sign that. Maybe they
Yeah,
would if you asked them, but
yeah.
not always. And it's really interesting to see when you're doing it. And so
Hmm.
I think that's the first thing to pay attention to. But
Hmm.
often, if you're feeling disappointed or resentful, check if it's because your secret deal didn't pan out.
Hmm.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're trying to do the psychic eyes where you're looking at something, like I would do it when I had staff that if they didn't wash their bowls and there's just piles of dirty colour bowls, because my secret deal was, this is what you do. You know, I've hired you to do this job, and you need to do this, and this needs to be clean, and this needs to be to my thing. I'm not going to tell you though. I'm just going to stare at the
Yeah.
bowl and hopefully
Yeah.
stare at you long enough
And
to,
you and the bowl.
yeah, like, or
Yeah.
you know, or if I cleaned it up in a passive aggressive way, which is what I would do, like stomping about, that when I needed help cleaning, you owe me cleaning. And then
Yes.
if they
That's
didn't, I'd be
probably more
livid.
secret
That's
dealy, isn't
secret
it?
daily. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
going to
yeah.
do this for you today, but I'm going to store it. You owe me a clean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I let you go home early, but the time that I need you to stay, if you say no, I've got a gig to go to, I'm gonna drag out that time that I let you go early. Or after all I did for you, it's dreadful.
I
We all
think
do it though.
it is dreadful and we all do it. And I think the thing to think about with this is this: when you're about to do someone a favour, whether they ask for it or not, is make sure you're happy to do that favour
With
with
nothing
no
back.
trade.
Yeah,
And if you're not, don't do it. Or
yeah.
if you want a trade, tell them,
It's so
I'll
simple
do
when
this,
you say it
but
like that. Why is it? Oh, honestly, I'm so buzzing about this. And the wild thing is that the secret deal is like literally one part of the people pleaser puzzle, and there's actually more than this, which obviously we talk about
yes.
in our workshop.
Yes. I can't remember off the top of my head how many there is, but
Yeah.
I think I talked about 4,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there's actually a few more. So next time we run it, I think I'm going to extend this section a little
Yeah.
bit. But it's really interesting to see how people pleasing is showing up. But the secret deal is definitely a great one.
Mm-hmm. Brill.
It
And
was
I think,
it was a popular section, this, wasn't it, that day? I
there's like
remember.
head in hands, and I think you'd said like we have our like default ways of people pleasing, like that we fall into, but I feel like secret deals like so across the board. So
I
it's a
feel like
hard
secret deal
relate.
is a hair and beauty standard, isn't it?
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
a real classic for us. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Are we going to shamelessly plug our course now,
Oh,
Maddie?
well,
I mean,
might
it
as
feels like we
well.
should.
It would be rude not to. So our secret deal is that we've made a podcast for you. We've worked really hard, so you need to come to our bloody
You have
workshop.
to now buy a ticket to our
Yeah,
course. That is the trade. If you listen to
that's
our podcast, we presume you're going to buy a ticket.
yeah, like, but we're telling you, so it's not a secret anymore.
No, it's an
Yes,
outward deal. We
we
would like it.
have. We'd be thrilled. So honestly, by the time that this actually goes out, it might be sold out. So we apologize if you follow a link and there's no tickets, because it's an in-person thing. Obviously, we're really limited on numbers. We have a bunch of people on the wait list. But fill your boots, go to our links. We'll put it in the show notes for People Pleaser to Powerhouse in Manchester, which I'm buzzing about.
It's on the
If
21st of Feb, I think, isn't it? The
21st of, I think I said January
21st.
before. I do this quite a lot. 21st of Feb. But yeah, go to the link. If there are tickets, that means there are tickets. If there are not, we'll do a wait list. We'll put another one on for you. It's mint, and I'm just going to toot our own horn. So good.
It is a mint day. It
It's
is
a
a
mint
mint
day.
day. It's a full day workshop with me and Maddie. It bounces between little sessions with me, little sessions with you, and we walk you through going from being a people pleaser into a powerhouse. Like I said, we talk about the psychology side. Maddie talks about the strategy and how to stop doing this in your business. It is such a fun day, isn't it? We had a
It's
really good
magic.
time last
I
time.
can't wait to do it again.
Yes.
A rare
Check out.
in-person outing for me.
Yes. Yes. A rare in-person outing for you for sure. And so, yeah, this is our live in-person workshop. So,
Yeah.
yeah, check out the link in the show notes and in our bios and see if there's tickets left.
Yeah. We'd love to see you.
Brilliant.
Should we do a little hyper focus?
Yes.
So, oh yeah.
I've got one brewing. I think it's brewing.
Same.
I'm not fully into it yet, but I feel I'm about to deep dive and go mad because I noticed something. I've been working away a bit recently, And suitcases, I've discovered, my suitcases are rubbish. They're rubbish. And
Um,
they're even new, Maddie. Is this what yours is?
this is like the second or third time we've done this. Mine's backpacks. Oh my god, this is really. I just went silent there because I was like, we obviously don't tell each other what these are, do we? These are a
No.
surprise. Tell me about your suitcases. I love luggage shenanigans.
Yeah, I feel this when I was recently traveling, I just thought this suitcase is not up to the job.
Hmm.
That's basically what I thought. And I just thought to myself, with my role with L'Oreal, I'm doing more and more traveling now. And I just thought, I need better suitcases. I
Hmm.
need a good big one and I need a good one that can go hand luggage only.
Hmm.
I just need better stuff, Maddie. So I feel I'm on the edge of deep diving luggage.
I'm very
I've seen
excited
a
about
couple
this.
pop up on
Hmm.
TikTok, where they have like the drinks holders hanging out the side and stuff like that
I got
and
that
all
as
of that.
well. Yeah, I
But
got the
what
odd.
I've discovered is my handle doesn't come up and down very easily. It gets stuck
Hmm.
and my wheels are not spinning. I need a more expensive one. That's what,
Hmm.
I need a
Nice
really
one.
good suitcase. Because I feel like, when you just go on holiday once or twice a year, you're not bothered. You'll just have a crap
Hmm.
suitcase. It's fine. Every year you get it out, you think, oh, this is rubbish. I remember.
But whatever. Yeah.
But this is happening to me now more on like a every couple of weeks basis. I'm like,
Hmm.
I need a better one. So if anyone's got any recommendations for amazing suitcases and stuff, I'd really like to hear about it. But I'm on the edge of deep diving this.
This is very strange because mine's also on the edge of the deep dive. But luggage, I got some. I love my luggage that I've got. It's a pink ombre one, but now it's not my colour. So I'm a bit sad about
Oh
that. But
no.
it's like you're only literally walking
It's-
to the check-in desk, so it's not really the end of the world.
yeah.
There is a luggage company called Base, Beis, and they do
Writing this
loads of
down.
different things, and they're all in like colour sort of capsules, so you can get all coordinated. And I got very swept away as I do in the Barbie hype, and they were doing a limited. They were doing, and they had it when I was in LA. They had a pop up shop on Abercrombie, and it was a giant suitcase, and you
Ooh,
walked in, and it was like
oh.
the base hotel because they love an experiential sales process. I'd highly recommend it if you can wangle it into your business.
Mm,
And they literally had like sun lounges. They had all of this stuff out. It was like you're in a really fancy hotel. So I was like, consider me influenced. So I got the Barbie. It's like a weekender bag, and it's got a bit for shoes at the
right.
bottom because that's a big challenge I have. Say if I come to London, I want to walk around in trainers, but the Gucci loafers obviously have to be there. But I don't really want to walk
Yes.
around in them all day. But I want them separate. And I wanted one with a little hook that goes over your suitcase so you can wheel them around.
Yes.
The pre order doesn't, bear in mind this was in July. The pre order doesn't come out till January. So
So you've
I'm,
not even got this yet.
no, no, no. That's like the longest wait of my life. And I kind of forget about it. So one day I'll come home and be like, oh, my Barbie thing's here. Completely the wrong colour for me now, but I don't care. Um,
No.
I just love luggage. The downside of the hard cases, they just get absolutely mangled, but they look nice compared to the material ones. But mine's like scuffed to
Yeah,
bits.
I quite like a hard case though, because it's like when you put your laptop and stuff in it. And,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I was carrying my laptop the other day on my back, but
Hmm.
then my back started hurting. And so I didn't want to carry it. I wanted to
Hmm.
reduce the weight I was carrying on my back. So I put it in my suitcase.
Hmm.
And I think if it had been a material case, I wouldn't have done that.
True, true.
So
Well,
it's tricky, isn't it?
this is why I'm getting into the backpack hype. I already have been through this, and I got me and Aidan one from a place called Peak Design, and it's the most outrageously feature-heavy backpack ever. Um, I can't even tell you how many. I came and did a demonstration for Aidan when I got it, but it's too big to be your. It's classed as hand luggage. It's not small enough to be like a personal bag on a plane because
Under
it
the
won't go
seat
under the
bag.
seat. So I want to get an under the seat, but I want one that's like real jazzy laptop in. Do you know where it's got like the little chargy hole bit? I like a lot of secret compartments. I like a little passport bit. So I'm now starting to get into the deep dive research phase of jazzy backpacks. And
Yes.
to you thing about laptops, I now, my little top tip is anything that needs to come out in the security bit, I put it in a tote bag in my bag. And
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
whip that out because I have to be the most efficient person in the security. I want them to go home and be like, she was the greatest guest at
That
our
tall girl
security
was really
today.
good.
I was so efficient. Yeah. So off shoes off, everything, I'm ready. So yeah, I have that out. And sometimes I just have that out before I go to the airport and then I just put it in when I get through because I can't bear when people are like, oh, let me straighten
Oh
this
my
in, and
Lord.
it's so
What
stressful.
about those people who've got like 3 see-through bags and think that that's going to work?
I've
Like I see these people every
It's
time
the
I'm at the
worst.
airport now, and they've got like 3 of those mini bags with all their minis in, and the
I
people are
think
just shaking their head like,
there's
"Have
like a
you never been to the
rumor.
airport
I'm
before?"
sure I'm sure I saw it on TikTok where people were like, "Oh, you can have as many as you want, but it has to be 100 under 100 ml in there." And I was like, that's not
No,
the rules.
it's not true. It's not
I
true.
did
It's
go
all over soon
through.
though. We're getting the fancy scanners.
Do you know what's wild? We have one in there's an airport up here called Durham Tees Valley. It's tiny, um, and they've had them for ages. I was like, how does Teesside have this and Heathrow doesn't? Insane,
They've
and it's
probably only got one
amazing.
scanner.
You just go, honestly, you just, I was like, what do I do? And they were like, just go through. And it was
Yeah.
so good. So I can't wait for that. I could, a big part of me wants to have this whole life as like a travel influencer TikToker, but I just can't be asked. But I
One
love
day
a travel
maybe.
hack. Yeah. Like, honestly, any gadgets, any things, oh, we're me and Aiden are like bang into this world. So I think you've just opened
I feel
Pandora's
like I've
box
got
with,
something to send you about backpacks, but I can't remember what it's called. But I used to follow these guys called the minimalists.
oh,
Have you ever heard
yeah.
of the
Yeah.
minimalists?
Yeah.
I was fully obsessed with the minimalists. They were a
Yeah.
massive hyper focus of mine once upon a time. And they were really obsessed with things like luggage and stuff. And
So
they had a
good.
backpack that they used to promote. I'm going to find it and send it to you. It might be the
Well,
one.
I found my current one from I can't a guy called Ali Abdal, who's like a YouTuber and probably similar. Like he's really into like any. It's I think he's a productivity guy, but he's just like anything to make your life sort of easier. But oh, me and Eden are just
Yeah.
obsessed with
It's
these sorts
about
of
the
things.
flow and the ease, isn't it? That's what I've
Yeah,
been thinking recently is like, this needs to be flowing easy. If I'm going to do it a lot, it needs to be
yeah.
easier.
Because travel's stressful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like, how can we make it dead easy? Send us your travel
Yeah.
hacks, folks. Send us
I know. Any
everything.
top tips we're in?
I
We're
love.
in. Well, let's
Amazing.
next time we might have. I'll probably have a suitcase to talk about on the
We'll
next
do a
one.
show and tell of our luggage hyperfocus next
I'll
time.
be done by then. I'll have looked it up.
I'm so excited. Thank you for sharing Secret Deal with the gang because I'm just buzzing about this. I can't
It's
wait to
my
hear everyone's
pleasure. I mean, we love
thrill.
talking about people pleasing.
We love it. So I'll
It's
see
been
you
good.
next time.
Thanks, Maddie.
Thanks,
It's been
Haley.
good.
I'm seeing you in a bit.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments.
Please support those who support us and check out Timely, who we recommend as our favourite booking system for you. New customers can get 50% off their first 3 months with a code COFFEE50.